Hello everybody, this is The Horror Sickness and I'm back today with a contest entry. This is going to be the first contest entry actually on this channel. I've done quite a few in the past as Frightmare 100, but this is going to be my first on here and I'm really happy it's kind of come full circle. This is going to be an entry for the one and only AndrewBallina. Now, anybody that knew me as Frightmare 100 and knows AndrewBallina may recall that when I first started, AndrewBallina actually did a video for me, entitled it For Frightmare 100, and went through a bunch of his stuff and recommendations and a bit of a welcome to the community and everything else. And I'd only just started and he did it out of the blue. I never asked him to do anything, and just out of the kindness of his heart and wanting to welcome me into the community and everything, that's what he did, and I've never forgotten it. AndrewBallina is one of the top guys on YouTube. His collection is fantastic, but he's just such a nice guy. As I say, for him to be able to take the time to do that for me back then, I really have never forgot it, and we've kept in touch on and off ever since. And I always try and catch his videos. He's always commenting on my videos. Really positive comments. Just such a nice, genuine, positive guy. So yeah, it feels kind of apt that this is going to be my first contest entry on this channel. As I say, it's kind of come full circle. If you haven't already, it's very doubtful. I haven't quite hit 100 subs on my channel. I know Andrew's into hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, so it's more likely that everybody that's subbed to me or that everyone will watch this video already knows AndrewBallina. But if on the off chance you don't, if you're just watching this video and you don't know who this guy is, his link's going to be below. And if you like anything that I do, if you know whatever it is that's brought you to see me, then definitely go and check him out. He's absolutely fantastic, great guy, definitely worth a sub. And yeah, just go and check him out, link below. It kind of sums it up, is doing this contest, and even the contest is interesting, really clever. Andrew's been talking about maybe putting together his own slasher film. He's really into his slasher films and making his own. Now he's asked us as part of this contest entry to come up with a title, come up with a name for a slasher film, something that he can use. Now, you've seen the intro, so you know what mine is. Mine is Cutter, and with the tagline a little off the top. Now, it's probably not going to be used, I don't know, because you know, there wasn't that much detail given. It was just give me a title for a slasher film. You know, there was no, this is where it's going to be set and this is what it's going to be about and this is the kind of mood that I'm going for and these kind of things. So he just left it open, which is fantastic. So I just kind of went with something that I've thought about in the past. Believe it or not, and it probably doesn't look like it at the moment, or especially at the moment, I did train a while ago as a hairdresser or a hairstylist. For a little while actually, got quite away with it and started cutting people's hair and various things, but it didn't quite work out for one reason or another. But yeah, I remember even back then, kind of, you know, in the times where we weren't busy and I was just milling about the shop and cleaning things and making myself look busy, I'd come across things like, you know, if you think about in a hairdresser's or in a salon or a stylist or barbers, you've got scissors, you've got the cutthroat razors, you've got what they call the barbicide, the kind of blue liquid that you see that they put the stuff in to disinfect your scissors and things. That's dangerous stuff. You've got the sink, the way that you have to put your head back into the sink and, you know, leaving your neck exposed. The hot water, the fact that in most salons nowadays you also have like tanning beds and things. You also do a lot of waxing. And you know, you got obviously the hot wax and all that stuff, and there's a lot of glass around and a bunch of electronics, and it's just, it seems like the kind of place that, you know, a bunch of interesting murders could happen. So even back then I used to think that, you know, I used to think of ways, maybe if, you know, someone was having their hair done and they had the thing back and then the hair got sucked down the plug hole and someone could cut the throat, and you know, it sounds horrible, but you know, I'm into my horror, so that's the kind of thing I think about. So yeah, that's obviously Cutter is the title that I've gone with based on that. The look, I've obviously done the kind of there and maybe the kind of feel of the intro and the music and all that kind of stuff as well. So, but that's my first part of the entry, so it's Cutter. The second part is basically he's asked us to run through our favourite slasher films. I wouldn't profess to be the biggest fan of slasher as such. I'm just a fan of horror. Now, I didn't think I'd have that many slasher films. I have quite a few. I'm obviously not going to have as much as a lot of people out there, and a lot of the stuff, probably the majority, actually all of the stuff I've got is probably pretty common stuff when it comes to slasher films. But I've basically got a selection, just running through from earlier to more recent stuff that I like, I find interesting. The one thing I do really find interesting about slasher films is the discussion of what makes a slasher, what is a slasher film. You know, let's start running through the list. Interesting one, we go back to 1960, we take a look at Psycho, Bay of Blood, Mario Bava, and you know, it's a giallo, but it's got all the slasher elements that kind of set the blueprint for slashers to come. 74, and I've got a bunch of these out. Texas Chainsaw one, Dario Argento, with Deep Red, back in 1975. That kind of giallo feel to it, but you know, it's a slasher film. I don't even know really why I'm showing this, because You Are the Man, Andrew. Anyway, I like the cover to it. It's one of my favourite covers that I have, so I just wanted to show that. Toby Hooper, Funhouse. You actually mentioned my previous video before this. You sent me a message asking if it was a Sleepaway Camp box set in the background, and it was. All the movies that you saw in my previous video I'd laid out to do this video. But yeah, Sleepaway Camp, definitely a slasher. Don't think you can get away from that. And from the year I was born, initially from 1984, a year after Freddy Krueger turns up, well, Nightmare on Elm Street, and yeah, this is as slasher as it gets. Just love it, absolutely love it, everything about it. So to say that I'm not a big slasher fan, this is one of my favourite horror films of all time. Something like this, you know, Candyman. It kind of came in and around this, I think this was 92, so the early 90s, and it was just before Scream. This came out in 96, so the early 90s I don't think was doing that well, really. And I like Scream. I like the original one the most. I just think it was really interesting, fresh and new. And the one thing you have to say about Scream and the following films, the trilogy, is that, you know, it put back on the map horror films, and it wasn't until Scream came along in 96 that it kind of got going again. So I think we owe a lot to this film, whether you like it or you don't like it. I think it's an important part of horror history, and especially slasher history as well. Hatchet. I know a bunch of people are actually saying that they prefer the second one. I'm going to put myself out there, and I'm in the camp that much prefers this one. I've got a really good laugh. The kills are fantastic. Probably are better than in the first one, and more of them. The first one, I think the acting in general was a bit better. I think the slight backstory that they had was better. I felt more for the characters. I think the girl that played the Daniel lead, Harris. Yeah, of course, Halloween, Daniel Harris. But yeah, the girl that played her in the first one, I found her much more likeable, much more interesting character. Most people go for this. I'm personally going to go for the first one. I think you actually mentioned that you prefer this one much more than this one, but Laid to Rest and Laid to Rest 2, Chrome Skull. Personally, like the first one better. Probably along the same lines. I just think it was a bit stronger. The kills are probably a bit more in the second one, but I just think as an overall film, as an overall package, the first one just did it a bit more for me. And pick one favourite. I would generally go for Nightmare on Elm Street, but there is one, and this is one it's been around for a long while. It's one of the slightly lesser known ones, but it is still quite well known. I've mentioned it previously on my last channel, but it is one that I only fairly recently come across. It's not one that I remember from when I was a kid or anything, but it just, to me, is the archetypal slasher. Everything about it is brilliant. The acting is very good. It's got that kind of slightly cheesy element to it. The kills are absolutely outstanding in this film. I just think they're all practical effects, and they're all so well done. and it just keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it's interesting, it's funny, and it's Intruder. Just absolutely love it, everything about it. This is the uncut version from Hardgore. Yeah, and if you can pick that up on the back, sorry about the glare, but yeah, as I say, you're gonna know it. I've not picked anything kind of out the ordinary or anything like that, just a bunch of films. As I say, the interesting thing that I find is the discussion about what makes a slasher. As I say, some films kind of sit in between, some seem to have been put into the slasher genre that don't quite make it for me. They're not what I would personally call slashers, and then there's films like this that are just slashers, you know, and this is for me my favourite slasher. So yeah, there we go. Hopefully I get this entry in time. Sorry it is very late, but again, AndrewBallina, first of all, thank you for doing this contest. Really wish you all the best. Please do what you can. Go ahead with putting something together. If it's your kind of dream, your mission to make something, even if it is a short, even if it's, you know, you just do it for yourself, please do it. And anything that I can do, I know I'm other side of the world to be honest, but if there is anything I can do, please don't hesitate, let me know, and I'll do what I can. But please, just go ahead and put something together. You've got so much support on here, and I'm sure that a lot of people would get involved and help you out with it. Also, best of luck with your channel and everything else that goes along with it. Always looking forward to your videos. Anybody that doesn't know him, please go below, click the link, go check out AndrewBallina, and hopefully Cutter will be hitting screens near you soon. Yep, never gonna happen. Anyway, this has been The Horror Sickness. Thank you very much for watching. Go and check him out and take it easy, everybody.